Hey everyone, it's Alyssa from Planet Alyssa, and I am here with this week's What I Sold on Etsy video. It has been a slower week for me than it was last week, and it's been slower across the board. Etsy, I did okay on Etsy actually, compared to, my eBay sales are like nothing this week, and my Amazon sales are really, really slow this week. So anyway, this week I sold 10 items, which is actually about what I sold last week, but I sold lower price items. So it was a total of $147 this week. So definitely fell short of my $200 goal, but with the way this week has been, I'm happy with selling this much stuff on Etsy. So I will go ahead and show you the shop stats and then what I sold. So here's a look at the shop stats for this week. It wasn't a huge week for me, but views were pretty good. 2,785 views. Pretty well split between listing views and shop views. 134 favorites, most of those being listing favorites, and just 10 orders this week for a total of $147. And the graph below shows kind of the trends as far as when orders were coming in, but because there were only 10 orders, it's not really, I mean, when you see a spike, that's just because I sold a higher priced item, really. The first item that sold this week was actually a lot of Christmas die-cut decorations, sold for $12. This is something that I picked up pretty recently at an auction, and it was in a lot with some other stuff. I had it in one of my haul videos, and I actually, in the haul video, I wasn't even sure if I was going to list it. And I had a few people comment on the video that I should list it. People were interested in it, so I'm thinking it was somebody that watches these videos that bought it because it did sell within, I'd say a few hours of when I listed it. I sold this vintage pen set, desk set. It had a letter opener and then a pen holder with the fountain pen. It was a Schaefer brand set. It sold for $30, and I'm trying to remember where I picked this one up. It was either a thrift store or an auction. Either way, I've had it kind of a while, probably over a year, I would say. So it's good that it finally did sell. Now, on the other hand, these vintage book plates with the unicorn design were something that I picked up really recently. They sold for $15, and I mean, this is another item that sold, well, within a week of when I listed them, not within a few hours, but did sell quickly. This was a box of them. There was not a full box, but there was quite a few. I want to say like around 40 book plates, and these are the kind you have to lick and stick, not the self-stick kind. Sold another Christmas item this week. Holiday items sell year-round, so don't hold back on listing them. This sold for $5. It's just a little plastic pin. I think it was from Hallmark, and it's something I picked up at a rummage sale, I want to say about a year ago. Then this was just 4 vintage milk caps. They're cardboard caps. They sold for $4, and these were in a lot with a bunch of milk bottles that I picked up at an auction back in the fall. This is a vintage salt and pepper shaker set with a sad-eyed puppy dog and his trash can, and this sold for $12. This is something I picked up at a thrift store. I sold another item from the clearance section this week. This is a vintage cutting board. It sold for $6. I originally had it priced at $12 and marked it down 50% off to $6. I cannot remember where this came from. I think it came from a thrift store, but I've had it a long time, so I'm not sure. And I sold a crewel embroidery kit. This one sold for $15. This was my only international order of the week. It was going to Canada, and it has nice bright colors to make a pillow or a square-shaped picture, I guess, but I think it had all the components to actually make a pillow other than the filling or form. And this is something I picked up at a rummage sale a couple weeks ago. I sold this vintage rack rummy game in the case. It sold for $40, and it's like a nice leatherette type carrying case, like a backgammon set comes in. Now I will say this set was nearly complete, but it was missing, I think, one tile, so it was not perfectly complete. Probably could have gone for even a little bit more if it was. And I picked this up at an auction in a lot with some other stuff. And finally this week, another craft kit type item. This sold for $8. This is one of those cut and sew fabric panels, but it's not to make a doll, it's actually just to make clothing for the doll and then like a little tiny stuffed doll that goes with the doll. So it's sold for $8, and this is something I picked up at a thrift store. So that's everything that sold this week, and as always, the price that you see just represents the selling price of the item. That does not reflect any of the shipping charges paid by the buyer, any fees that I paid to Etsy or paid to purchase the item. And I put out these videos every week showing the different vintage items I sell in my Etsy shop, Planned Alissa, and then I do get out some other videos on selling online, have some haul videos. I will be having, I'll be getting some haul videos out to you over the next week or so because I am planning on hitting up a bunch of rummage sales next week. And I'm also thinking I'm going to get an Amazon, what I sold on Amazon in the past 10 days, or 10 items I sold on Amazon the past week or something like that out to you. And it's going to be interesting because this is a slower Amazon week for me. And so, you get to see that, I guess. But yeah, so look for those videos. And if you like it, of course, feel free to give this a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment below. Okay, guys, I'll see you again soon. Have a great weekend, and happy selling, everyone!